Good morning to Geethika and her family, and good evening to everyone else. So, I'm Dr. KGP Santosh Kumari, founder and CEO of ShanMukh Linguaskill Solutions. And as a part of our virtual reading club, today we have a cutest and little doll, a lovely, wonderful girl from California, and she's none other than Geethika. So she's going to talk about a book, and from her words, we'll be listening to which book and what she's going to talk about and all that. Without any further ado, let's welcome with a round of applause Miss Geethika.
Hi, I would first like to thank Dr. Santoshi for giving me this opportunity to give this book a review. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is a book series, but I was specifically giving a review on the first book of this mystery series written by Holly Jackson. The book starts out when a girl named Pip Fitza chooses a senior at Fairview High School chooses to investigate the local murder case of Andy Bell, also known as Andy, and Sal Singh, who apparently committed suicide out of guilt after he murdered Andy Bell, a case that still haunts the town for her final senior capstone project. Pip, however, has a strong gut feeling that Sal was not responsible for Andy's death. And somehow she was able to find the address of Sal Singh's house, and she knocked on it, where the Sal Singh's family was still living, even though they faced constant judgment from neighbors. Ravi, Sal's younger brother, opened the door, and Pip wanted him to help her. He was hesitant at first, but he reluctantly gave in and helped her. He gave her details about Sal and Andy, and they both talked about how they thought that Sal wasn't responsible for the death of Andy because it was so out of character for Sal, because he was known for being kind and smart. Sal even had a scholarship to his dream school, but he murdered his own girlfriend, and this seemed suspicious to Ravi and Pip. So they both started digging for clues, and they realized that Andy was a drug dealer and was doing multiple other illegal things, and Sal was against that, so that might have been what they had been fighting about before the supposed murder. One of the illegal things Andy did was have an appropriate relationship with her teacher named Elliot, whose spouse just passed away. So Elliot at first started tutoring Andy, but he later on let the relationship escalate into something inappropriate. And he later on deeply regretted it in the story, despite his claims of grief. Elliot ultimately abused his position of a trusted and respected teacher and a safe adult in the community to engage in an illegal relationship with a minor. While Elliot was the adult in the situation, Andy also had reasons for pursuing the connection, and one of them was that she lived in fear of her controlling and abusive father, Jason Bell. She initially used the relationship with Elliot to manipulate him and help her get into a good college so she could escape home and take her sister, Becca, with her. However, because of this relationship, Andy had to contact Elliot, so she saved his number on her old phone and wrote it down in a journal, which Pip later found. Pip also found out that Andy was working with Howie Bowers, a local drug dealer who supplied various drugs to teenagers, including weed, ketamine, and rohypnol. Him down to a rundown bungalow after obtaining his number at a calamity party. A calamity party is just a party, but they started calling it a calamity party because calamities happened there, which she went to a friend with to investigate some more about the case. After she knocked on his door, she started questioning him because she had some information that she learned about how Andy would sell drugs that at old calamity parties, and eventually found out that Hastings, one of the guys in Sal's friend group, once bought rohypnol from Andy, which he then used to drug her sister, Becca, and violate her. Since Becca felt violated, she went to Andy about it, expecting help and support. Instead, she got dismissed, and since Becca felt so frustrated, she pushed Andy to the floor, which caused her to eventually seize and die. Since she had just been injured by the teacher, she was having an inappropriate relationship because she wanted to end the relationship because she wanted to run away with Sal, but the teacher got frustrated and pushed her into a table edge where she got injured and then walked away to her car. Elliot thought he killed Andy. So to cover the fact that he killed Andy, he brought Sal, Andy's boyfriend, for a meeting. Since he had Sal as a student, and asked Sal if he was doing okay. Then force-fed him drugs, which caused him to have an overdose, eventually killing him. And then Elliot made it look like Sal committed suicide and made it look like Sal also murdered Andy. He put some of Andy's blood under Sal's fingernails and her phone in Sal's possession. He also kidnapped a girl named Isla Jordan because shortly after Andy Bell disappeared, Elliot was driving around in a state of panic. He saw Isla, who was unhoused and bore a striking physical resemblance to Andy. He initially approached her thinking she was Andy. Upon realizing she wasn't Andy, Elliot offered her shelter at his old family home, which he had lied to his daughters about selling. While there, he got drunk and confessed to her that he had killed Sal Singh. When Isla tried to leave or go to the police after hearing his confession, Elliot panicked and locked her in the attic. He kept her captive for 5 years, visiting her daily to bring her food under the guise of private tutoring lessons to kids. But when Pip was nearing the end of her investigation, Pip had one question. Why would the friend group, who consisted of Naomi Ward and Max Hastings and a few other people, lie about when Sal left? After all, they were supposed to back him up. But why would they make him guilty? Because if they hadn't lied about their statement to the police, Sal probably wouldn't have been found guilty. She found out that the friends were lying because she found one of the friends' Instagram and saw that in the reflection of a group photo, Sal was reflecting off the window, taking a photo of the group at 12:06 midnight. So he couldn't have possibly been murdering Andy because he was still with the group and not somewhere else. Turns out the group lied because they were being blackmailed by Elliot Ward, who is the father of Naomi Ward, because Elliot read Naomi's personal diary and discovered that the group had been involved in a drunken hit run on New Year's Eve that left a man seriously injured and possibly paralyzed. They helped cover up the accident with the help of a corrupt cop, Dan DeSilve, who Max was also blackmailing. To frame Sal for Andy Bell's murder and protect himself, Elliot used this information to force the group into deleting evidence that Sal was there with them, changing their statements to match where Andy was last seen to make it seem like Sal was murdering her, and fabricated a request that Sal himself had asked them to fake his alibi, which made him look even more guilty to police. Eventually, the truth came to light because Pip took multiple risks and lost her dog, because Becca threatened her and killed her dog because she didn't want Pip to find out that she murdered her own sister. Pip made many more sacrifices and many people ended up in jail. But she finally exposed the truth and achieved what she wanted to know, that Sal was not guilty. I think the theme of the story is to trust your gut when you feel like something is wrong, and whenever you feel like quitting, keep going because the results are going to be worth it. Thank you.
Thank you, Geethika, for a wonderful review of the book. So anybody wants to share anything, you can feel free to share.